presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Let's go to our man Al in Homosassa. What's going on, brother?
Isn't it wonderful? I went ahead and invested in your Tiger dollars, and I went ahead and got the gold report for a year, and also your morning your call letter and stuff like that. And I got over a 50% return in one day, not counting everything else. But I just want to thank you. Tom's not perfect, but he tells you how to put your stops in, and he keeps your losses small. You can take your small losses, but then all of a sudden you'll be like Dave Ruth, and you'll hit a home run. I mean, a big home run.
Yeah.
And put the money in your pocket.
Okay, brother. You're awesome, man. Thank you.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. This is the Tom O'Brien Show after all. Let's take a look at where we're at today. So, seeing the end of the day on Friday was so crazy. Because I remember we were right about, here when I came on. And I said, kind of looking at everything, and I'm like, it's going to try to reach the open and see if we can do it. And I wasn't so sure. And then out of nowhere, this massive leg up for the close on Friday. And so we opened right around that level and then came right back down, making, somewhat of the same pattern, trying to get up. At the end of the day, I don't know if we're going to see another round of volume like that as well in the E-mini, but it remains to be seen. Of course, we're kind of just tracing back from highs, which is to be expected when you're making all-time highs. Of course, there's a lot of fundamental data coming out as well that kind of renders everything a little bit unsure going forward. As it stands now, however, in the E-mini, we are off about 0.3%, trading right around 5,279, off from a high of 5,368. The Russell is off as well. The NQs trading off a little bit, and then the Dow futures off as well. The gold contract up 0.97% today. Of course, we had a trace back as well from the highs, and still kind of anticipating a move back. This is, again, pretty natural. When you make all-time highs, you get some movement off it. Of course, you had a lot of volatility this day, but they were fighting. It kind of went on average for that day in gold, and we're coming back up on some later volume as well. See if we can test those highs. Silver trading at 30.72, up about 0.94% today, and copper getting some breathing room too, up about 1.38, and crude oil down more. So obviously OPEC Plus came out and said they were going to rid of this OPEC also, but OPEC Plus came out and said that they were going to maintain those lower production standards. I actually do have some of the data for that as well, which is just kind of neat. This is the, obviously from their meeting, this is the production table they have. It would be kind of cool just to take a look at that and who some of the top producers are. Saudi Arabia, obviously the top, and right under Russia. And so what is unique about this is from the January 2024 meeting, this was in December of 2023, Russia was supposed to be making 9,828, these are in thousands, of course, KBDs, but they're making higher now for 2025 as well. So it's interesting to see how OPEC is kind of coming that. Non-OPEC is making about the same from the beginning of this year, or they're going to, again, these are all just, they're deciding how much they're going to produce as well. Let me see for non-OPEC, for OPEC Plus, they're making substantially less as well. This was 40,463 KBD, and for this figure that you're seeing on the screen right now at 39,000. So kind of interesting. We can take a little bit of look too, if I can get it. Where did it just go? Perfect. This is the monthly oil report. So essentially their growth forecast for the world economy is kind of going to be unchanged from 2024 to 2025. World oil demand, the global oil demand growth forecast for 2024 remains broadly unchanged from last month's assessment. So they released these monthly assessments, and this is the one for May as well. And so they're maintaining this kind of production level, and that's honestly to meet with demand. Still, it's a bit agitating, I would say. Definitely, oil is not, or gas at the pump is not as expensive as it could be. But in St. Pete, you're still paying $3.60 for a gallon, and we're producing very closely to the amounts we were producing, pre-COVID, and we were paying substantially less for that. Obviously, I think the supply is just a little bit more strict, probably because of Russia being embargoed a little bit, and then also some projected decreases as well. But as it stands, give me a second. Where did my chart go? Right here. We're coming down, and that's on volume. This is on a yearly too, so you can see kind of the volume, in that time frame, and that's substantial volume to the downside with it as well. I believe we're gonna have Teddy Keckstat on tomorrow for Tommy O'Brien's show. That's the morning market kickoff, and I always enjoy speaking with him about that as well. So let's move forward a little bit. Well, this is just kind of an off news, but obviously that they had a massive glitch earlier when Berkshire Hathaway was down 99.97%. Kind of an interesting little technical issue. I always wonder how those things can happen, but that's just some quick news as well. Now, here's some big news, right? I was talking with Tommy earlier today, came on halfway through his show that he had, and he was bringing up things that were happening with GameStop. Obviously, deep value, pumped a bunch of money into it, has call options going out to June 21st, which is my birthday, everyone. So maybe he'll get his wish granted on my birthday for making a bunch of money on call options around $20. GameStop currently, the point is Tommy brought up a really solid point. Essentially, the idea is where is that money coming from that he's going to benefit off from it? Who's he selling against, or selling into? And it's really going to be the average retail investor, right? And I brought up something, and we'll talk a little bit about GameStop too, and why we can look at the financials and their risk exposures of how this just isn't a good company regardless. And if you're in it, even for the meme hype, you got to realize that you need to get out ASAP, and you got to get a plan. The Diamond Hands meme is nothing more than that. It's just a meme to get you in there, and people are going to make money off of you if you stay in. But I brought up the concept of what Musk did with the Dogecoin, right? And that's exactly what he's doing. Elon Musk pumps up the stock. Everyone wants to get into it because it's a new hype. And then Elon sells off a bunch of it, and it's the little investors that get messed up. But the lore is so strong with people like Deep Value and Elon Musk. That's not a problem. So Elon Musk is now being accused of selling. This isn't the same thing, but he is selling 7.5 billion of Tesla stock before releasing disappointing sales data that plunged share price to 2-year low. Also, he got a massive payout that was challenged by the ISS, but nobody really cared, and it went through with it. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back. We'll talk a little bit about the story when we return.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstat's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstat releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The stock market is a delicate, interconnecting web of commodities, equities, and trader psychology. When one string of the web is pulled, it has a ripple effect across the broader market. This is where opportunity lies. But how are you to gather all of this information into one cohesive model when you're already spending your energy looking for any possible trade opportunities? Luckily, you don't have to worry about that, as Tom O'Brien has brought all important market news to you in one single newsletter, Market Insights. Market Insights provides a daily overview of what's happening in the indexes, bonds, gold, and more. Follow along with Tom daily as he analyzes the components that affect the overall movement of the stock market, giving insight into how each one plays either a bullish or bearish role. Tom also analyzes specific equities that he believes has the potential to make huge returns, and his track record proves his analysis right. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Don't let the market leave you in the dust.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. I was reading the YouTube comments over the break. They're talking about gold in there. Very good point of what's going on. Of course, Tim Ord will be on tomorrow. We all love his metals analysis as well. This is Barrett Gold up right now, about 1.78%. Of course, we had a minor pullback in gold as we were seeing, but I think we're probably going to be back off to the races again with this, especially if we can get some movement down in the dollar. What is cool about what the DXY is doing right now is we're getting into a much lower trading range than before. Okay, we were hovering around this 106 to 105, and now we have a big bar down right above that 104 level. And if we can continue this movement down, this is going to be pretty solid. Of course, you have some interest rates easing overseas, which, you know, in some capacity is good for everyone. So that's what we have rocking right now. 104.12 in the dollar. And then, oh yeah, that was the point of me bringing this up. I end up talking and then just forget what my point was. Nugget. So these are the leveraged ETFs. So anyone who's interested in getting in gold and you want something cool, these is from our friends over at Direction. This is the 2x leveraged bull ETF. That's Nugget. And then, of course, if you're on that bearish side, you can crack into dust as well. I was talking also a little bit about oil. Now, I had erroneously assumed or kind of concluded that crude oil, that it wasn't going to go down this far. I didn't think we were going to hit the 74 level. I think this is pretty decent volume. Maybe we can get another day with some volume and, you know, probably the volume will soak up after that, right? I'm not sure I see a sub 70 level for crude oil, but, you know, do your own, you know, due diligence for that as well. But if you're liking the leveraged ETFs on that as well, you can check out, this is going to be DRIP, which is a 2x bearish. I'm not sure why it's looking like this. But, and then you can have Gush as well, which is that 2x bullish ETF, again, over from people at Direction. Let's keep moving through everything. We have Tesla. I'll get back to that story about Elon Musk, just some interesting stuff. Down about 0.99%. Of course, they had to recall some vehicles due to some seatbelt safety issues. And then some other guy is complaining now that he can't return his Cybertruck or something like this. I mean, you know, whatever that means. They'll take anything for headlines these days. Steel Dynamics off a little bit, not doing anything. Again, we're consolidating around here. Some pretty strong volume, but not a big price spread for that day. And then what else? I was talking about Disney earlier. You know, little Tommy had come on, so this was the last segment. And, you know, it is amazing, again, how much, the little Tommy knows these characters and things from when I was a kid, right? I mean, this is just a testament to the staying power of Disney, but they're just not capitalizing on it. And this is where these, getting into politics and everything as large companies can sometimes, just put, larger companies in mires, essentially, right? So you have this big gap up on nice volume, coming up right back down on nearly identical volume. We're going to test that gap down again, but we have no volume right now, okay? And I don't know if that's really a bullish sign in the sense that there's nothing that's making this company really attractive right now. And I also mean that by like word of mouth. I mean, this new hype is going to be this tech. Of course, we got stuff to talk about with NVIDIA and AMD, with Rubin and the M3883. I forget the name for the AMD chip, but we'll talk some more about that. But this is what's going on. And so I think we're going to test, this area here, but I believe we're also going to come back down. So we're going to have a consolidation period probably in Disney for some time. With it until any positive news comes out from it. Now, they really are supposedly shifting gears. And what I mean by that, as far as their movie creation, right? So the new concept is we're not going to focus on the moral or the story necessarily, but it's going to be far more narrative driven, which I think will yield positive results for Disney. If you look at, of course, the new Star Wars and everything had so much discussion going around it, and it devolved into really like a political argument, right? Which is a shame. It did make them a lot of money, but some of their more, recent releases that were pretty notable to date didn't have much to do with any kind of cultural commentary. And so I think the executives are kind of seeing that, and they want to bring that quality back, which I think as an investor, is a positive thing if you're looking at it just from the money side, anyways. But yeah, as it stands now, anytime you see moves like this and on the up, I mean, of course, with Disney, it has such staying power, so you want to stay in it, but it would have been intelligent to sell there, of course, but that is hindsight. And if you're still green, I guess you're good. But anyways, let's move back quickly just to this conversation with Tesla. Musk is getting really slammed in the media for it. So essentially, he's facing allegations that he illegally sold $7.5 billion worth of equity in Tesla in the fourth quarter of 2022, knowing that the business would disappoint after promising investors an epic end of the year. Right on. In the lawsuit filed with the Delaware court late last week, shareholder Michael Perry accused both the CEO of deliberately unloading nearly 45 million shares in advance of poor vehicle sales data to prevent an estimated 55% hit in value, and almost the entire board collectively violating the responsibility of directors towards shareholders. And I have just associates and friends and family and stuff like that, who work for public companies, and they'll show me instances where you can see in the stock price. Like I have some people I know will look at the stock price of the company they work for when they know it's going to be a bad quarter, and you can always see, some larger volume than average, either selling off or maybe they're buying if it's going to be a good quarterly, which is pretty crazy. Anyways, the point of bringing up Tesla really was to talk a little bit, segue into GameStop. Now, let me pull this up. Up 30% again today. Wow. So we obviously had this big move when Deep Value posted something about GameStop. Excuse me, I'm trying to get my mic fixed. About GameStop, people got in, then you had a lot of volume as well to the downside with that. And then just kind of volume soaking up. And then it came out that the guy put $175 million bet on the retailer. So let's talk a little bit about that. Gained as much as 75% of the market open after doubling 1 point during the pre-market trading. The screenshot showed holdings of 5 million GameStop shares purchased an average price of $21.27, which is a position worth $115 million as of Friday's closing price of $23.14. Jeez. GameStop shares traded hands at $38. Okay, the account also appears to own 120,000 option contracts that expire on June 21st. These contracts confer the right to buy GameStop shares at $20 each. That's $65.7 million. Pretty nuts. But again, the big question, GameStop isn't doing insanely well, right? I want to pull over some of their financials to look at it, and kind of their letter to investors as well. This is just the Yahoo financials. It's not the company's PDF. You have decreasing total revenue. Obviously, cost of revenue was down a little bit as well. Gross profit is down, not immensely, but you're not seeing a major change, year over year. And this is going back to 2021. You can go to the balance sheet. Their assets are shrinking as well. Liabilities shrinking too, kind of a similar rate. It's just not a lot going on in this company, and obviously this price, were really overvalued. And we'll go through what they have written for their investors as well about some of the risk exposure they have and why, if you're in GameStop right now, know what it is. Okay, this is a long-term investment. This guy, Deep Value, is trying to make money off of the hype. Okay, and he probably will. So you got to be aware of that as well, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Tigers, you've seen his show, you've learned from his webinars, and now it's time to trade side by side with him. Join Larry Pesavento for the second month of his new service, Live Trading Fridays. Hosted in the Tigers Den trading room on Discord, Larry has analyzed a number of commodities and indices, placed profitable trades, and explained his method. Whether you're new to trading or are a seasoned market veteran, trading side by side with a titan like Larry Pesavento will only enhance your game. Utilizing Fibonacci retracements and ABCD structures, Larry provides decades of insight into when to place trades, when to exit, when to ignore, and so much more. Learning is doing. So if you're serious about learning technical analysis and becoming profitable in this uncertain market, Live Trading Fridays is a must-have tool in your arsenal. Live Trading Fridays occur every second and fourth Friday of the month, so trading events for this month are May 10th and 24th. If you're serious about trading, we'll see you there. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Tom O'Brien Show is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. Before we went to the break, we were talking about GameStop and kind of their major risk exposure and why, again, if you were investing in this, because I know we actually do have a lot of new people listening on our different platforms, which is awesome. And I've spoken with some of you guys, and you're just kind of new to investing, and that's what this company is here for, is to teach you guys and get through it. And so this is my kind of 2 pence on GameStop, and to be very careful. Again, I always tell this story, and I told it a little bit earlier. Just when this first happened years ago, I went on to the Wall Street Bets and I said, "What are you guys doing to get out of it? What are your plans?" And I was called every name in the book. It was pretty brutal. And then I realized, like, oh man, I don't think a lot of these guys really know what they're doing. They just, they see the money printer. And that's what people with a lot of assets, a lot of cash, like deep value, and also Elon Musk to a certain extent, are kind of betting on, because they're the ones who are going to make money off of this. If you're going to diamond hands this company when it's really in not a phenomenal position, and in my opinion, even from reading their investment letter here, needs to be restructured in some way, or they're going to have just a slow burn going out. You want to be really careful when you're in stuff like this, and you need to get out at right times too, right? This isn't going to go skyrocketing. And keep in mind as well, like this is from this pop-up isn't even from people having to cover their short positions like it was the last time, right? This is probably really just retail guys on Reddit, on Twitter, and everything. So it's a little bit different than last time when you had that short squeeze. So you're not really sticking it to man the exact way that it was happening, a few years ago. Let's talk a little bit about the competition they have written here. Hey, give me a second here. I can pull this over. You just take a look at what this looks like, right? So this is the 10K here. Let's take a look down. Oh boy, where are we at? Okay, well first this is just their merchandise, right? This is their really big thing. They have the trade-in programs, which is honestly feeding in to merchandise as well. Hardware and accessories, new and pre-owned gaming platforms and major console manufacturers. Yeah, to some extent this is valid, but I think I would argue from what I see, again, anecdotal, but what I would see among my friends is when this stuff's going on, people are buying from person to person through things like Facebook Marketplace. They don't want to go to GameStop because as much as there is brand recognition, which is what these guys are focusing on in this letter here, as something they could leverage, it actually works against them as well, because the whole, a joke about GameStop is, and again, this is really what ties into their brand recognition, is that they will buy your thing, your item, for so little on the dollar, right? And then they will sell it at an extreme premium. And we have avenues like Facebook Marketplace nowadays that can circumvent these kind of guys. So anyways, we keep looking at that. Software, new and pre-owned gaming software for current and certain prior consoles, in-game digital currency, digital downloadable content, and full game downloads. This is positive if your aunt wants to buy, your child or whatever. The idea is you're trying to buy, someone in your family who's young, Robux or something like that. But in reality, these kids are just getting them offline. Same with V-Bucks for Fortnite. And keep in mind, these are massive, massive economies. These digital currencies and loot boxes. I mean, look at EA, like loot boxes are something like 70% of their revenue. This, in my opinion, isn't super strong for them, okay? And you can also buy these at like Walmart as well. And then collectibles, okay? They compete, one of the major competitors is gonna be Amazon, they say down here, which is a massive problem. Walmart, Target, Amazon. I don't see GameStop with only about $1.2 billion in revenue competing with these companies in any serious way. And I would venture to suggest too, that a lot of these collectibles that they get, the ones that are not as popular, so I forget what these little dolls are called, but people buy them a lot. And I'm sure they can get those straight from the producer, but I would argue a lot of the other stuff is coming from Amazon as well, so they're feeding into the competition in some capacity. Risk factors, economic and industry risks. Obviously, supply chains are massive for these people. Gaming industry has historically been cyclical and affected by introduction of next-generation consoles, which could negatively impact the demand for existing products. So that's a big problem if they can't get the things that they already have in stock out quickly enough, especially when something new comes out. Now, usually there's enough time in between things because these large game console manufacturers want to generate hype. But the point is that's still a problem, and I don't know, how quickly they're getting stuff out. I forget the accounting term for it, but I don't know a lot of people going into GameStops. I think there are a few stores that are very prominent, especially like in California. But, you know, I think they're gone here in St. Pete. And then obviously the major thing is the trade-in for games. This is what they were known for, and that's completely gone because it's all digitized. This is a company whose bread and butter is no longer really done brick and mortar, done physically. It's all done digital, and these guys are in the brick and mortar kind of arena as well, or that's the venue they use to try to sell these products. In my opinion, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking way too much about this, but I just think about it a lot because I think people get burned super heavily when this kind of stuff happens, you know, because they don't know. And they want to make money, and it's cool and it's fun, and all the bros online are having a good time doing it and posting huge gains. And it's like, well, I want that. But there's no doubt that most people, I mean, it's almost like a Ponzi at a certain point, right? You just don't want to be in there holding the potato when it's, you know, when the time's up. Anyways, let's move on from that. We can talk a little bit about NVIDIA. They popped up in a major way, of course, announcing right after their new chip announcement, Blackwell, they're now announcing Rubin. And this stuff, the kind of tech they're using in it is like insane. It's this all new kind of storage. You know, we use it's DDR4 SD-RAM. This is like a whole new thing they're going to use for Rubin, and it's massive. So we talk a little bit about this. NVIDIA's stock ripped higher Monday after Jensen Huang revealed details about the company's next AI chip platform during a conference in Taipei. The new platform called Rubin is successor to NVIDIA's Blackwell platform, which it unveiled in March. While the CEO offered scant details on Rubin, he did mention that the platform will also include a new ARM-based CPU called Vera and will come to market in 2026. Huang also announced a more powerful version of its Blackwell platform called Blackwell Ultra coming in 2025. As well as an Ultra version of the Rubin. Interesting. That's kind of a cool idea, in my opinion, you know, because you're going to get these tiers of people who want this stuff from NVIDIA. You know, NVIDIA is so hyper-focused, and it really was on those, you know, initial chips. And so now having a tier from, like, you know, cheapest to, you know, third cheapest to second most expensive to most expensive, I think is really good for NVIDIA. That's something I think AMD had done well, but at the you know, expense of creating something really, really, really cutting edge the way NVIDIA did with H100. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
Welcome back, folks. Before we went to the break, we were talking about NVIDIA, a little bit mentioning AMD, about some of the new chips that they have coming out, right? So this is going to be, we have Blackwell, it already come out, so we're going to have a better Blackwell going forward. Okay, well, the Blackwell is 2025, but we have a better Blackwell going forward from there. And then we have Rubin, and then we have an even better Rubin as well. This is getting really insane, especially regarding the memory they use. So a lot of these chips use something called high band memory. And Samsung has announced a new generation of this called it's HBM4. And it's just nuts. I'm not going to go into the full technical of it, but just know that this is insane. And this is going to be how... When these new Windows computers come out, this is going to be how they're going to be able to process all this stuff, because it's so nuts what Windows is doing, right? With these new AI built-in computers, okay? And it's actually a little bit creepy too. And you know, we sometimes speak about security here, cybersecurity on this, or when I fill in at least. And so one of the main features that they're kind of driving with this new Windows is going to be recall to kind of any point of when you were last using the computer. So essentially what this thing is doing is taking snapshots of your computer every, so often, let's say 5 or 10 second intervals, might be a little bit longer than that. But the point is that's insane, one, because, you have something literally tracking what you're doing on the computer that's natively built into the computer. And the second part of that, beyond it being a little bit creepy, is the idea that it's actually being stored natively on the computer as well, which is a lot of memory. So I'm not saying they're using the HBM for that, but there's going to be something very similar beyond what we're using now. And anyways, I just think we're entering this kind of realm that is so much more intense, I think, than I would have thought, let's say, like a year ago. Really, this is going to get... When I say it's going to get out of hand, what I mean by that is like it's going to be so far ahead that the common person isn't really even going to conceive what these things are doing. But it is quite amazing. What I think we're going to see from this, and I think maybe NVIDIA is sensing it as well, hence the kind of like tiers of chips that they're going to have through this. So like Blackwell, better Blackwell, and then Rubin, and then, better Rubin or whatever. I'm just using the word better. But, one of my major concerns, this went through a split. Okay, and then that went up higher. That had the equity go up higher than it was before the split. So people wanted to get in on it. It was quite obvious that it was pretty cost prohibitive before the split, and it's even more so now. The market cap is absurd. I think we were sitting somewhere like 2.1 trillion or something on Friday. But one of my big things is what happens when you get a quarter or two where the major consumers of these chips have already, let's say, built out something and they don't need any more chips, and these new chips are so expensive, and then you get a bad 1 or 2 or 3 quarters. You could see some pretty big devastation. This is the third largest, stock by market value in the world. That's or at least on the, in America, but the world. And that's a big issue if they run into problems with people buying chips, because either cost prohibitive, people have already spent enough money in quarters prior building it out. And I think they might anticipate this a little bit, which is why they're releasing these tiers. And I'm not sure they've really done that prior, which is kind of interesting. Of course, AMD is doing it as well. But regardless, NVIDIA is certainly the king of the chips right now. Talking a little bit, Snowflake got hacked, which is a big cloud AI data platform. So one of the things I was speaking about as well of something that's going to kind of inhibit the adoption of AI in the workplace is because you're sending information essentially out of the premises, which is a major issue. And I get, and if you're a cybersecurity professional, I would love for you to email me, because one of the things that I think about, and this is someone who's coming in and working at a certification for networking and SEC and everything, and so I was much newer to it. But one of the things that always confused me is the idea of putting all the eggs, in one basket, or all the men behind one wall. And that's what I was seeing with a lot of these cloud companies. Now, of course, things like, Amazon and Microsoft, they tend to be relatively impregnable. But you had things even with that password management company, where everyone's like, it's so much better. And you had actual security professionals suggesting that you use these password managers, right? And what happened? I mean, someone broke in and stole all these passwords to these accounts, and it was pretty devastating, Anyways, yeah, so Snowflake got hacked. Ticketmaster is in a bad position from it. They lost the information of 560 million users, and they're ransoming it for $500,000. A criminal threat actor offered what it alleged to be company user data for sale via the dark web. Obviously working to mitigate the risk. This is what Snowflake is saying. Threat actors have leveraged credentials previously purchased or obtained through info-stealing malware. So they were able to leverage customer data from prior leaks in order to basically leapfrog into this leak. That's nuts. Huh. That reminds me a little bit of 23andMe's big leak that they had, because on the back end, there's no real barriers to accessing other people's data, because the whole concept of 23andMe is you get to see people who are related to you or something like that. And obviously that's a lot of identifiable data. And they kind of just shrugged. It's like, hey, it's not our fault. You guys didn't, change your password. Anyways, pretty crazy. That's just some little tech news for the day on that. Some news from Jeep. They're looking to grow hybrid SUV sales by as much as 50%. I think a wrong time to kind of do that, because inflation is going to take some time to come down, and I don't like Jeep that much, but fascinating anyways. All right. Now, let's go into crypto. Because the GameStop mania, okay, well, there's another thing to show you how these things with GameStop affect the rest of the market. I clicked the wrong one, but AMC, let's see what that's up right now. Yeah. Look, I mean, it did the same thing nearly that GameStop did. Obviously, it had a less movement today and much lower volume. But you can see how this drags into this whole kind of arena of the new and the meme. Bitcoin and Ethereum, I would say, are not that. But let's look at this. Bitcoin has briefly topped 70,000, with GameStop mania spurring crypto purchasing. The crypto asset inflows totaled 185 million in the week through May 31st. That's according to CoinShares. Wow. Bitcoin briefly went around above 70,000 earlier on Monday for the first time in a week, while most other cryptocurrencies were mixed after the initial increase. Of course, Ethereum had a major sell-off after adoption into ETFs in the trad market. Traders said that the earlier gains were mostly a result of spillover effects from gains in GameStop shares driven by the Reddit account behind the meme stock mania of 2021. Solana blockchain utilizing GameStop's name. Wow. Oh, it's a GameStop cryptocurrency, and this ticked 120%. And this is what I'm saying. Like, there is still money in this economy for a coin that just is like GameStop coin to move up 120% and get so much inflow just shows you that there's still a lot of money, and it's going to take a little bit of a while for that to get soaked up from some of the stuff that the Fed are trying to do. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back. I think we have a short segment.
The stock market is a delicate, interconnecting web of commodities, equities, and trader psychology. When one string of the web is pulled, it has a ripple effect across the broader market. This is where opportunity lies. But how are you to gather all of this information into one cohesive model when you're already spending your energy looking for any possible trade opportunities? Luckily, you don't have to worry about that, as Tom O'Brien has brought all important market news to you in one single newsletter, Market Insights. Market Insights provides a daily overview of what's happening in the indexes, bonds, gold, and more. Follow along with Tom daily as he analyzes the components that affect the overall movement of the stock market, giving insight into how each one plays either a bullish or bearish role. Tom also analyzes specific equities that he believes has the potential to make huge returns, and his track record proves his analysis right. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Don't let the market leave you in the dust.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. Of course, this is the Tom O'Brien Show. He will be back with us tomorrow. We got a short segment here, about 5 minutes until the market closes. Talking a little bit about Ethereum before we went to the break. You had about 3 billion Ethereum exit off of centralized exchanges since the ETF approval. I mean, you could have a supply squeeze with this. And that's one of the big arguments, too, with the ETFs as well, having to buy and buy and buy more. Anyways, the amount of Ether on exchanges fell by around 797,000 between May 23rd and June 2nd. It's the equivalent of 3.02 billion. That is off those centralized crypto exchanges. Again, too, if you're a newer person into crypto, I mean, this is all the new stuff. And no one should be, shamed for wanting to check out these kind of new techs. And we're seeing crypto really move in a major way. I mean, now we have SEC, not necessarily approval of the thing itself, but of course ETFs are okay and the exposure to it, I guess, is all right for them. But this is one thing to keep in mind as well. There's not a lot of super heavy-duty regulation around these crypto exchanges, right? So obviously they're a little bit more legit than just random storages that these other coins have, like individual coins will have. But one of the things you really want to do if you want to buy crypto and just hold on to it and you're not going to do anything with it, the best thing you can do, let's say you want to buy Bitcoin, right? You buy that Bitcoin, let's say you can use whatever exchange you want, and then you move it into cold storage. So you move it off that thing. Because what happens if they're going to lock up liquidity? What happens if someone comes in? I mean, there's just an example of a bunch of crypto being stolen, I think from a Japanese company. I don't have the exact story up with it. Okay, no, here it is. This is from Japanese DMM Bitcoin. Says over 300 million of cryptocurrency is lost. This is a cryptocurrency exchange because of an unauthorized leak. There's no reason if you're going to hold crypto, just hold it and not convert it into USDT to buy stuff with. You don't need to be keeping it on these exchanges. Just put it into cold storage. If you want to know more about that, just look it up on YouTube. Folks, thank you so much for joining me. Tom O'Brien will be back tomorrow. I know we were looking forward to hearing from him, what we got going on. Hope you all have a great rest of your evening.